I go by the name of Joffey Joe, and this is my show. Call it how I see it. And in today's episode, I got a couple of things I wanted to talk to y'all about. Some sports related and some not sports related. The first thing I wanted to talk to y'all about is non sports related, and it actually has to do with beauty and sexiness. So, on Tuesday night, it was announced that the 2023 Sexiest Man Award was awarded, and it was awarded to Patrick Dempsey. But I think what caught more shockwaves was some of the finalists that was nominated, including a special player in the NFL. Now, many of y'all would probably guess that it was Travis Kelce. However, it was quite the other. It was his brother, Jason Kelce. So, I'm going to dive into this Sexiest Man Award. Okay? Now, I'm sexy, and I know it. But I just I don't know how to take in or understand this. I don't know if having Jason Kelce as a nominee is a societal thing. I don't know if it's the internet pushing that agenda. I don't know if this look really does command and demand sexy. But my boy, Jason Kelce, is a cool dude. And the way he conducts himself and the way he presents himself to the world can definitely either turn people on or definitely turn people off. Everyone's got their cup of tea. I'm not here to discuss and go into detail about a man's beauty. Every man and every person in their own way can generate their own sexy. So, what traits and what skills does this man have to be nominated, or some of the other nominees? How about that? Let's go into some of the other nominees that were nominated. Okay, well, first person that I can bring up was Usher. Usher is going to be doing the Super Bowl halftime show. And I think, though, Usher had his time. And I think maybe he could have got it back a little bit over time. But I think his more of his time was in 2004. He's been caught up in other stuff. Among other things he's been caught up with was a herpes scandal, which a lot of people forgot about. Um, so I don't want to knock the man for that. I'm not here to judge people. I'm just bringing up facts. Another person that was brought up into this nomination group is Jamie Foxx. And kudos to you for recovering. But um, I think you also had your time. But like I said, I'm not sure. I don't know who comes up with these nominations or whatever else. Go ahead, rock your thing, bro. You got Lenny Kravitz, which also had his time. I guess still sexy. Don't know. Like I said, I'm not here to judge or nominate. Um, my thing is, all these nominees, even though Patrick Dempsey won, all these nominees, is this more of an internet based agenda push? Which I kind of think it is. But is it really just who he is? And people in today's world find that, attractive and sexy. Um, I think a lot of people, if you pulled up a picture of Mr. Jason Kelce, they would think he's a very grisly man, um, and would perceive him in a light where it wouldn't be perceived as some of these other nominees. Overall, I think because of his popularity has grown, I also think because of his brother being who his brother is, and his brother's dating life has come to light, I think a lot of that has generated this idea of him being nominated. A lot would argue that maybe his brother should be nominated instead of him. But I guess that's not what happened. And these were the nominees that were picked out and nominated. And this is why it turned out to be the way it was. Overall, Jason Kelce is a cool guy. All right. With his grizzly bear looks and his gritty, overlooked persona, I think he represents not sexy, but a man's man. And I suppose that is why he got his nomination. He is different from the other nominees. And of course, a man with this type of appearance, I don't think would be allowed to win that award. I think there would be a big uprising for those that really care about the award. Um, Overall, at the end of the day, I have a lot of utmost respect for how he is and who he conducts himself as a person and what he stands for most certainly. Um, he's a great family man, as we've all come to see over time. He's a hardworking man, as we also come to see over time. He's a great inspirational leader. He's comfortable in his own skin. And overall, he just knows who he is. Um, so, sexy or not, I think Jason Kelce should be awarded his own award. And that's the Man's Man Award. Or give him, give him some type of award in that type of light. Because I think this being put out there is like kind of like a joke, but overall, this could also start a trend for a lot of things. This could also wake up a lot of men out there that are out there. Not saying that they're not comfortable in their own skin. I'm trying to word this in a way that doesn't offend too many people. Um, eh, I'm not saying that it's not cool to embrace certain feministic ways, but overall, there's a difference between masculinity and feminism, and I believe in today's society, a lot of men are losing that masculinity, and they are more comfortable embracing their feministic side and turning a whole new page and leaf into the terms of being a man. Um, I'm not here to strike anyone's nerves or start any fights. I'm not. I respect everyone for who they are. But um, if you were to look at a figurehead of a man that conducts himself in a way of masculinity, I would think that Jason Kelce fits that mold. He's not out here painting his fingernails, and he's not out here to really dress and look the part compared to a lot of other actors and athletes out there that probably take more time getting ready to go out than most women do in terms of that light. Overall, like I said, I'm not here to start fights. I'm not. I'm just here to call it how I see it. But overall, Jason Kelsey's the kind of guy you can go over and grab a drink with and have a good time and have a laugh with, and just kick it with and understand. No knock to these other nominees, but I think that Jason Kelsey's just more down to earth, and I got a lot of respect and love for that man. So, sexy or not, I think overall he should be in his own type of category of how he conducts himself and how he moves. And that's no knock to these other men, but I think that's why he was nominated in this group of sexiness, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm just calling it how I see it. Hello, world. I'm back. And I just wanted to dive into my sports related topics now. Well, at least one of them. And that first sports related topic I wanted to dive into was a great showing of basketball. A great showing of basketball that I saw just a couple hours ago. And that was by my beloved 76ers. That's 6 games in a row. Yes, six in a row. And they clearly stepped up to the test. Tobias Harris was quoted after the game saying that, you know, these are the types of games you want to play to measure where you're at and test where your team is at. And the Sixers really stepped up to the test. They were down at halftime. No, I'm sorry. They were down in the first quarter, at the end of the first quarter, but after that, they hit the gas and kept running. They really did. At halftime, they were up 7 points. Third quarter, they were up and they closed it out. Bit of a nail biter, and I think that was some typical Las Vegas sports betting spread agenda just to keep things close and interesting. Like to do that against the Philly teams for some reason. But nonetheless, a win is a win. Like really, a 13-2 run at the end of the game. Really? Okay. Whatever. Whatever. We still got the dub. And I'm just really liking what I'm seeing from the Sixers. I think Nick Nurse is light years better than Doc Rivers, as I reiterated last year, but that just comes to show to light more and more. Joel playing in the post is a thing to see. Yes, he does command double teams, and Boston was handling him pretty well, but he was still able to put up 27 points. Tobias played well. Um, Tobias wasn't asked to do too much either, since we have more pieces around the perimeter to help cover people like Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, who both really didn't play that very well. Especially Jalen Brown. If it wasn't for that late three at the end of the game, he wouldn't even have double-digit points. But nonetheless, we played a very good defensive game. We did give up shots. The Celtics do shoot the three, I believe, at a higher rate than anybody else in the NBA. However, those shots were not hitting. They shot under 30%, and so did we. However, we were able to hit the shots that mattered. And for them, it really threw them off rhythm, which that's fine. That can happen. We want that to happen personally because you can't live and die by the three. I think that's been shown time and time again, and that's also part of the reason why Boston hasn't won any titles. Just saying. Um, Porzingis did ball. He balled pretty well, and it looks like he fits pretty well in that system. But we'll see over time. I did want to shed light on a special someone that was on the court, and this person did not play for either the Celtics or the Sixers. And this person is Jenna Schroeder. And before I get into detail about what I saw her conduct herself into doing tonight, I'm not sexist, and I have praise for other female officials, such as Simone Jelks, and even the longest tenured female official, which is Lauren Holtkamp Sterling, who do great jobs. I'm bringing to light that Jenna Schroeder tonight did a horrible job. And I think I speak for everyone in that crowd. There's a lot of missed calls, and the two technical calls that she called, even on Boston too, very weak. I mean, I believe that she comes from a background of AAU basketball and was offered a position. I believe. I don't know her full background, but this is her third year officiating, and I know that she is not very liked in the NBA. That's just based off of what I've read. So do a better job, because man or woman, you need to conduct yourself in a professional light. And if you're not doing things right, I'm going to call you out on it. Like I said, don't matter man or woman. But back to the game. Our defense is legit. We're long around the perimeter, and from Covington to Batum and everybody else, man, it's just like picking and fighting for the ball. Paul Reed fighting for the ball. I just really love what we're doing defensively. That's not getting enough credit. And to be honest, I think if Doc Rivers was still our coach, we would have lost that game in a meltdown type of fashion. But that isn't the case. This is the 2023 Sixers, and we are looking better. We are. Um, I would like to see someone step up and close. Joel did hit a two-pointer that helped pull us ahead by 6 when things got a little crunchy at the end of the game. But things worked out for us. And I'll be really honest with you. I think in a 7-game series later in the year, if we stay healthy, I think we can beat the Celtics in 6 games. I really believe in this team. I really do. We're so deep. When I looked at our bench compared to Boston's bench, I think hands down we have a better bench. And from everybody, maybe some guard play could help, especially at the 2 guard. I'm still a little iffy on D'Anthony Melton being a starter. I'll be honest with you. I like the guy, but I just think he's better off coming off the bench like he did last year where he had a really set role. But that's still to be determined. It's a new system, and maybe things can figure out and, make me shut up. That's what I really want to have happen. But we'll see. Overall, the Sixers are now in first place of the Eastern Conference. Still very early in this year. Very early. But it's an exciting thing to see. Kelly Oubre stepped up in ways I didn't even know was possible. Throwing him in the starting lineup is the right thing to do. I think with that, Joel, Maxey, and Tobias, that gives you a real strong starting 4. And hopefully, like I said, D'Anthony Melton can find his niche and find his role as a starting 2 guard. But we'll see. We'll see how things turn out. But overall, this team is playing very well. They're responding very well. They're really connected and understand how each other move and who needs to play their part. And overall, I'm just really loving what I'm seeing from the Sixers. I'm going to be tuning in until the end of the year. A lot of people wanted to count us out, especially after this trade of, some guy that really doesn't matter now. It's just a thing of beauty to watch, especially when good basketball is being played. We really took it to the Celtics tonight, and it definitely gave us some positive reassurance, especially if we stay healthy down the line. I really don't think there's going to be many teams that can match up with us, especially when we're this deep. And there's still a possibility for us to even get deeper with more trades happening. We shall see. But we're definitely going to take in this win, soak it up for what it was, and enjoy it, because that's what we should do. And overall, to the other end of that trade, the Clippers, since acquiring Mr. James Harden, are 0-2, starting to light that fire of that dumpster, and that's their problem. Oh well, you guys wanted them. We took what you gave us, and we're gonna run with it. We're gonna run with it better than you ever did. So take him, enjoy him. If not, send him to China, because that's the only place he's got left. He ain't got nowhere else to go. But minus all that, we're number 1 right now, and I like where we're at. I really do. I definitely think if we played Milwaukee again, we beat them for sure. I think they just got lucky that game 1. Everything is still new, but that game 1 they got real lucky. But for us to beat Boston the way we did tonight, and to put ourselves in a measuring level with some of these other teams, it was a big test, but they stepped up to the test, and this is the type of game and results you want to see come out of this test. So I'm all smiles. Play the song, clap your hands and everything, because the 76ers are here, and it's going to be a fun year. A lot of people were doubting us and commenting on Facebook and Instagram, oh, this team's got no chance, blah, blah, blah. But this team does have a chance, and if you're really watching, you will really recognize what's going on. So, peep gang. So I'm back, and I'm going to get into detail about something that's a little off the wall for me. Um, I'm just gonna say it straight up. I have a little bit of a bone to pick with Elon Musk. First of all, your name kind of sounds like a $5 cologne that's stuck in my dad's cabinet for like the past 7 years. Just wanted to say that. But your Matthew Stafford ass keeps trying to play God, and that's cool. Don't get me wrong. I don't knock you for trying to improve the world with technology. You're at a level and power that I'll really never understand. I respect that. I also respect the good that you have done through your SpaceX and through Tesla. But I do have a little issue with what you've been doing with Neuralink. And overall, I there's just too much safety concerns with this. But, for those that want to sign up and go right into detail and have this procedure done, I go for it. Go for it. It's all yours. I think my recommendation would be to look more into the research and the records that are out on Neuralink. There has been three federal probes conducted on Neuralink. Um, but let me just get into detail about what Neuralink is. It was originally pushed through and was designed to help those who are in paralysis in all four of their limbs of their bodies from conditions such as amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, spinal cord injuries, and other neurological disorders, which I think is a great idea. To implement a chip to help those that really need it, I'm all for it. However, I think the goal now is for Neuralink to engineer an implant to allow human brains to communicate wirelessly with artificial devices and even each other, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, very cool idea. Musk got the approval from the untrustworthy and corrupt FDA in May 26th, which they did not initially approve when he first came up to it. But this will allow Neuralink to operate on 11 patients next year, and this number will go up to 22,000 by the year 2030. So basically, he has robots that will conduct this surgery, and they will implant a Fitbit chip inside one's skull, and this Fitbit chip will help the brain function to the point where the neurons in the bodies can respond to the brain, which, like I said, great idea. However, there is a lot of safety concerns with this, and there's a lot of studies that have been out that show the concerns. One of the biggest concerns is the possibility of overheating due to the lithium battery in the chip. And there's also possibilities of wires moving within the subject's head. There has been over 155 different animals tested, including pigs and monkeys, which I'm sure PETA has got a big kick out of. But research conducted by UC Davis and their veterinary records, as well as California public records, concluded that a number of complications have occurred to monkeys that had gone through the brain implant procedures and suffered complications such as diarrhea, bleeding, partial paralysis, as well as brain swelling. This will also include incidences with set examples such as Animal 20 and Animal 15. Animal 20 was a monkey that had to be euthanized due to one of the internal parts of this device being broken off while being implemented during the surgery, which later created a fungal and bacterial discharge. Animal 20 suffered from brain swelling and was left with parts of her cerebral cortex focally tattered. And like I said, there has been three federal probes done on Neuralink, and according to Reuters, Over 1,500 animals have died between 2018 and 2022 because of these experiments from Neuralink. Um, is this just the trial and error of a product? With any product, there is a trial and error. The world is changing in such a rate with technology, most of us can't even keep up anymore. China is light years ahead. But is this a competition based idea? It's because of the pressures of other companies such as Syntron and Onward already were able to conduct this type of surgery on humans already in a way that even Elon Musk admitted that Neuralink has fallen behind in the matter. Will Musk's urgency in the matter end up doing more harm? This is in Tesla and X, where X had blown up its first 3 rockets. And even one of Elon Musk's baby mamas, who is Neuralink's director of special projects, would agree on that matter. Overall, the world is changing. I do believe by the year 2030, almost everything will be technologically based. That's just the direction we're heading. The money's going that way. Everything is just advancing in ways that most of us can't even keep up anymore. By the time that most of us do perish, I do believe this world will be filled with robots and possibly could help put the world in a place where it doesn't self-inflict harm on the planet and the planet could still thrive. I don't know. I'm only doing this off of research that I've done on myself. I'm sure there's more out there that know more than I do about Neuralink. I only bring the alarm and cautions through tests that have been publicly recorded. But like I said, if those out there with such issues neurologically would like to experiment and take this chance of living a better life, I'm all for it. I am. That is your decision. My thing is that I would just come with some caution in terms of taking this route because of the trials. Monkeys and pigs are considered smart animals. They are. And they are considered worthy test subjects of such projects of this matter. But when there are reports and records at alarming numbers with a lot of deficiencies and a lot of errors, it makes one really wonder if this could really work. Like I said, I do think there's an agenda and a pressure from the higher ups of the organization to push this out and have this mass produced in a way where they can profit. That is a lot of how businesses are nowadays. I think the money comes before safety, and I just hope that this doesn't backfire in a way that it can harm people because overall this is designed to help. And like I said, Elon Musk has done a lot of good. He has. I do not knock him, but I also think that the bad needs to come to light and needs to be shown in a way that can alarm people because at the end of the day, we are all humans and we all make our own decisions and choices. So, with that being said, should be interesting to see how things develop with Neuralink and with these patients that have signed up and volunteered to have these procedures done. I hope good things happen. I'm sorry about the animals that perished, but we shall see what happens moving forward with this. So, something else I wanted to talk about is the Phillies. Yep, it's been like, well, we're like a week off from the World Series that I didn't watch or care about, and noticed that I had the lowest ratings of all time. Whatever. Kudos to the Rangers winning their first one, but Diamondbacks. See you later, buddy. I do want to go into detail about the Phillies and what they're going to do this offseason. It seems like two guys that I've seen in the past 10 years are going to walk, and I think that first person is going to be Aaron Nola. I think he's going to get the money that he wants. I think he showed in this past playoff run that he can be worth that money. I know the Phillies don't want to throw him that money. They gave him the qualifying offer, so if he walks, the Phillies will be compensated with a fourth round pick in next year's draft, which is not always a guarantee. But that will give the Phillies more flexibility to get another starting pitcher, such as Blake Snell or even that kid Montgomery that was traded from St. Louis to the Rangers and helped the Rangers win the World Series. Pitched very great this playoffs. Or even someone like Sonny Gray, which I'm not really too fond of because of his injury history, and we can all ask a bunch of Yankees fans about how they feel about him. But nonetheless, you know, looking at the reports, it looks like Mr. Nola is going to be commanding around $30 million a year for a $200 million contract. He is 30 years old now, and he is coming off a year where he posted a 12-9 win-loss record, a 4.44 ERA, and also gave up a number of home runs that would indicate was a career high. But overall, he looked great in the playoffs until he fizzled out in Game 6 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Nola's been with us since 2014, and he was that next ace that stepped over from Cole Hamels. During his tenure with the Phillies, he ranks third in strikeouts, seventh in wins, and third in wins above replacement. Since that time, he's been a starting pitcher with us. So he's done a lot of work, has a great resume. So we'll see if he gets that deal. If I had to guess, I think the Cardinals might pull it off. They have some flexibility, and they already iterated that they want to sign him. So we'll see. I'll definitely miss him if he does go. I really will. Somebody else I'll really miss if he goes will be the big fella. And by the big fella, I mean Rhys Hoskins. It's a shame how things turned out for Rhys this year. There was a lot expected and promised from this lineup, and it included him in it. I do believe if the Phillies had him in the lineup this postseason, it would have been definitely a step up and would have made the lineup better. Um, he's not a guarantee hit, but if you were to put him between, nothing wrong with Johan Rojas' fielding, but he fell flat other than maybe two hits in this whole postseason. But he's young, he's raw, he'll be alright. I want him around. I just think, in the now, it would have been better to have Rhys Hoskins in that lineup, but he wasn't available. And even if he was available, he just wouldn't have been his old self. So it is what it is. Overall, this comes back to what was announced today by Dave Dombrowski, which he took the initiative to announce that Bryce Harper is going to be the first baseman, which indicates that Rhys Hoskins will be let go. And he was not offered a qualifying offer, and neither was Michael Lorenzen and Craig Kimbrell. So all these guys will walk. There is some new faces coming in. There's already two pitchers we picked up from the Tampa Bay Rays that definitely could help bolster our bullpen. I think we need to add some more pieces and puzzle us out better for a better run next year. I think, as long as we keep the same core, I think we can keep battling and get to where we need. We'll see how things turn out. Definitely going to miss these two guys, though, especially Rhys. It's a shame how things went that way. Hopefully he can find another spot, play DH, maybe even still play first base somewhere. I think he'll get a deal. I think he'll bounce back and really show everybody in the MLB that he is a good player, and it's a shame. But I'll miss them both, and that's really it.